In this video, I want to give a little bit more background on how we find the phi in this formula right here and why we need to determine the quadrant in which that angle phi lies. So you'll recall that when we get the solution to a differential equation of this type, it looks like e to the alpha t c1 cosine beta t plus c2 sine beta t. And we figured out how to get it into this alternate form using a trig identity. So I want to look at the trig identity version of this formula and take a little closer look at that trig identity version. So let's recall the sum formula for the sine of x plus y is sine x cosine y plus cosine x sine y. And so if we apply that to this formula, you get y equals a e to the alpha t. So it's sine of beta t cosine of phi plus cosine of beta t sine of phi. So when we match these two formulas up, C1 is going to correspond to sine of phi multiplied by a, and C2 is going to correspond to cosine of phi multiplied by a. So let's rewrite that on the next blackboard. So C1 is the constant that corresponds to sine of phi times a. And so if we solve that for sine of phi, we get that that's C1 over a, or C1 over C1 squared plus C2 squared. And so the note that we want to make is that the sine of C1 is the same as the sine of sine phi. So if sine of phi is negative, then the angle phi must be in quadrant, either quadrant 3 or quadrant 4, because the sine is negative when the angle is in quadrant 3 or 4. We make the same note for C2 when cosine of phi is less than 0, then the angle phi would be in quadrant 2 or quadrant 3. So let's see what the possibilities are in a chart on the next page. So cosine phi is negative here, cosine of phi is negative here, and sine of phi is negative here, sine of phi is negative here. And remember that sine corresponds to C1 and cosine corresponds to C2. So if both C1 and C2 are positive, phi is in quadrant 1. If only C2 is negative, phi is in quadrant 2. If both C1 and C2 are negative, phi is in quadrant 3. And if only C1 is negative, then we have phi in quadrant 4. And so we have to follow these directives in finding where phi resides, because that's the only way to sync up these two formulas and make the C1 and the C2 have the right signs when they correspond to their new meaning in this formula. And then the final thing that one other thing that we should note here is that this tangent phi is C1 over C2, because the C1 corresponds to sine phi, C2 corresponds to cosine phi, and so we have to follow this chart in determining what quadrant the angle phi resides.